Hey everyone, welcome to episode 1 of my audio blog series, The Mystery and Media Mike, an extension of my two websites that I have, where I'm going to dive into a book that really makes me question how people even write fiction. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. For those of you who don't know about this mind clobber of a book, Gone Girl is about a man named Nick Dunne dealing with his wife's Amy disappearance on their 5th wedding anniversary. To make matters worse, Nick becomes the prime suspect in their case, and the pressure to figure out what really happened intensifies. Fair warning, spoilers, sarcasm, and serious rage are ahead. If you haven't read it yet, maybe pause here. Otherwise, buckle up, because today I'm going to break down part 1, Boy Meets Girl. The plot of part 1 may be the best part of the story. I'm using best very loosely. It introduces an overarching narrative structure, switching between Nick in the present and Amy in the past via her diaries. This structure is something that I was a huge fan of, but unfortunately, this book manages to ruin that too. But don't worry, we'll get to that later. The plot kicks off with Amy disappearing. Police is called, and our genius Nick Dunne is too clobbing chill. And he's smiling in press. Yeah. Wait, there's more. Because that's not the only thing about Nick that makes me want to lose my mind. He, it turns out, has a mistress. Not just any mistress, his own 23-year-old student named Andy, which he is much older than her. That's going to become very relevant later. Anyway, while Nick's story is being told and ticking me off in the process, another story is being told in this part, and is the best part of this book: Amy's diary. Amy's diary is a story of her life and her relationship with Nick, up to the date that she had disappeared. And guess what? Amy seems perfect. Like, suspiciously perfect. These entries are filled with the sentiment of, oh, Nick was the love of my life. But then everything started going wrong when I got the feeling that he wasn't the man that I thought he was. And honestly, I almost felt sorry for Amy in this part. She's doing everything right, trying her darndest to be this cool, carefree wife. She's thoughtful, she's kind, and she's a type of wife who leaves cute little notes for her husband. Meanwhile, Nick has been a complete clobbing idiot for the past several years. And judging what I've read so far in part 1, from his point of view, he hasn't really learned the error of his ways. But this isn't even what it seems. But that being said, this part really did a good job of building the suspense and tension in the story. Speaking of suspense, we get to Amy's treasury hunt. You know, the sweet little scavenger hunt that she planned for Nick every year to celebrate their love. Except this time, it feels more like a creepy game from the grave, with Amy missing and all. Nick starts following the clues that she left behind, but instead of this being a cute tradition, it feels ominous. The clues are just off, like Amy knew something bad was going to happen and is leading Nick somewhere. And I clobbing loved it. Not the situation, but the way Gillian Flynn wrote this part really had me convinced that this book was going to be a master story, especially because the final scene of part 1 led me to a very deadly cliffhanger. This part set up everything beautifully. It got me good and riled up. Nick's awful behavior, Amy's two perfect diary entries, and the mystery of all what happened. It's a slow burn to something much bigger. I was frustrated and completely hooked at the same time. But little did I know that everything about this novel that I thought I knew was about to be flipped upside down. And not just in a good way. But the lessons that I took away from this part in terms of writing were the importance of creating complex, layered characters whose actions create questions for the reader, using unreliable narrators to add tension and uncertainty, and crafting a setup that shows seeds for future twists, hinting at the truth without revealing too much. But stay tuned for part 2, where my fury really begins. You won't want to miss it. Were you banging your head against the wall by this point? Let me know in the comments if you're rooting against 4 or against Nick by the end of part 1.